Hi friends, hello, welcome back to my channel. I have now spent the last 5 months knitting this insane sweater. This here is my Dagmar sweater by Petite Knit. And yes, you heard me right, it took me 5 months. I started this in January and we're now almost in June. And I finished it last week. Almost 6 months to knit this beautiful, super chunky sweater. The issue now is it's almost June. I can't wear this. So, because that's now done, I thought, you know what? Let's start another one. However, this time it's gonna be a summer knit, more lightweight. And hopefully it won't take me 6 months because then that means it would be ready for Christmas. But anyways, now in case you're new here and we haven't exactly met, hi, my name is Ev, and I like to talk about all things knitting, spinning, and fiber related here on YouTube. If you're not new here, you probably remember my summer knits for 2025, all the patterns that I went through and the yarns that I was hoping to knit up and cast on this summer. One of them was actually the Ophelia Blouse by Tamara Jordan, and I bought the pattern and I'm casting it on. I've even knit up a swatch, so I'm ready to go. The yarn that I've decided to go with is Sunday Fibre Co. Fieldling in their color Minted. Over on Ravelry, it does say that the fiber in the yarn is discontinued, which is a bit of a bummer. I wonder why it just got discontinued. I actually ended up buying this, I think, over 2 years ago, so it definitely isn't a yarn of this year, but that's what I'm going to be using for this top. I think it's going to be beautiful in this little minty blue color, so I'm really excited to cast it on. As for the gauge requirement, I've actually knit a swatch, a new one, because I found this old one that I had done, but I never wrote down what the needles were that I used, so I'm not too sure what exactly that was, and I just wanted to make sure that I hit gauge because this top is kind of form-fitting and there is a silhouette to it. It's not just like a loose knit, so I want to knit it as accurately as possible. To hit gauge though, I did have to go up a needle size because the pattern asks you to use US 2. I'm going to be using US 3, which is 3.25 millimeter. US 2 is 2.75. This is my swatch. It is not blocked. I will most likely just be unraveling it so I can repurpose the yarn, but I just wanted to make sure that I was actually hitting the gauge before casting the project on.
Other way. One more.
You have to do the sound effect. So last night I actually went to go see Lilo and Stitch. As for those of you who do not know, I actually work in the movie industry. I am a 3D animator and I actually animated Stitch and Jumba a little bit, and those were the only characters from the movie. The other characters were done by my team, but in San Francisco, and my team in Sydney, Australia. I don't really talk about that too much on this channel because I try and keep this animation, I try and keep this knitting and spinning orientated. But if you guys want to know more, maybe at some point I could do a Q&A. I've never done one of those. My company actually reserved one of the movie theaters, just like one of the rooms. Everybody who worked on the project actually got to go together and watch the movie, so it was really nice to see everyone's work and just kind of have little moments of cheering here and there for very special or complex shots, and just little glances at each other, knowing which shots were really hard to tackle or which one are completely different from where they started off. Super amazing that I got to share that experience with so many fellow coworkers, and just staying to the very end for the credits so that we could see everybody's names. My name is actually in the credit as well, so it's always like special. But at the same time, I was also knitting because I like to knit in movie theaters. I just can do stockinette. I can just do regular knits and purls. So I was able to knit the full back panel before doing the increases for the armhole. I can't do any increases, decreases, any little techniques in the dark while knitting because this is just muscle memory at this point. Yesterday I did the 6.15 inches, I think it was 6.15, before doing some increases here on the sides for the back arm connection, and then I'm gonna pick up for the front. But anyways, if you guys are really curious about my job, I don't really talk about it on this channel too much because I try to keep this very knitting orientated, very spinning and fiber fun, and I just kind of work as work. But this here is basically knitting. It's like my release, so that is why I don't really mention it too much. But that, I don't know, let me know. But yeah, let's get back to knitting. So for this pattern, the top suggests that you knit till your widest part at your bust, which I think is here. My cable is a little bit short to properly measure, but this is where I think I'm gonna end for now, and then I'm gonna go to the next part. So far, I really haven't knit that much in the body wise. So I think this is where you stop working on the V-neck at the front, because the V-neck isn't a very deep, like a low cut V. And the rest is just a regular cardigan type knit. So here we have it. Again, I pretty much just knit, what is this? Like an inch after the armhole connection. So I have 1.5 inches after the armhole connection for now. Okay. I made a mistake. Turns out I only did half the increases for the underarm. I don't know what exactly happened, but I was reading the pattern because the next step is actually to do the decreases for the body shaping. And it says to put stitch markers, I think 26 stitches away from the underarm stitch marker. And I was like, I don't have one. Why do I not have one? Because I only added the first half of the underarm stitches, and you're supposed to add like the first half stitch marker, second half. I didn't read that part. I'm gonna have to rip back. At least it's really not too far of a rip back. It's just this much all around. But would it really be a video knitting with me if I didn't make a mistake and didn't have to rip back? I feel like every project I knit, I have to rip back, and it's just like part of the knitting process, part of the knitting experience, ripping back. Hi, I'm just sitting in my room slowly knitting this morning because I have just gotten back from the ophthalmologist. I had a little bit of an eye appointment. In the end, everything is fine, and it was just more of a scare. I have a lump or a bump in my eyelid, and it's just not going away. So we're gonna be keeping an eye on it for a little bit longer, but it's nothing to worry about. And worst case is they said they could drain it, and it's like a very simple, and these things can happen. So it's nothing scary. But because of it, and because I went to the eye doctor, they enlarged my pupils. So now I'm stuck sitting here in a dark room knitting because I'm prone to headaches and migraines extremely easily. And my eyes right now are so sensitive. I was actually really lucky to have the doctor be super close to my house. It was like a little bit of a walk. Just walking home My boyfriend had to come get me because of the headache from the sun. It's like a super sunny day out. And even with sunglasses, my pupils, I look insane. I look like I'm on drugs. My pupils are the size of my entire eye. And I Googled it and it said it can last 4 to 6 hours. So I might be stuck like this for a good part of the day, which is super fun. But it kind of just gives me an excuse to just sit inside and knit. And since this is just stockinette, like my eyes are a little bit blurry, but I don't need to 100% focus on what I'm doing. But this is just so weird. It's such a weird feeling right now. So while we're sitting here and my eyes feel completely weird, I thought we could just talk about the Ophelia blouse and how the pattern's working up and where I'm at, because I'm not actually sick or in pain or anything. I just look insane. And I find that super funny. But this is where I'm at with my Ophelia. I'm at the portion where I'm doing the decreases for the first body shaping. So right now I'm doing it for the waist shaping to go in, and then there's going to be like a little peplin shaping outward. Every, I think, 10 or 11 rows right now, I'm working decreases, which is very interesting. You do 4 different points. So there's 2 at the front for the decreases and then 2 at the back. I actually really like this pattern because it doesn't give you rows to decrease to, or it doesn't give you rows to knit up to. It, for example, before you get to the decreases, it makes you knit and do increases for the V-neck till your widest point. It's very much knit till your own particular body measurements. I find that really fun because it's going to be specifically tailored to you. That's one thing I love about knitting is, I mean, this top makes you shape it to your own body measurements. But let's say even once you buy a pattern, you can always alternate it. And because you're making your own clothing, you can just shape it to your own body or your own preferences and your own sizing. And I just love that. I love the fact that even though like you're supposed to follow a pattern, you're not obligated to, even after purchasing it. There's no one like forcing you to knit something specifically. And I just love how this pattern is very catered to that. It's very orientated to knitting to your own specific body needs or specific body measurements and requirements. And it's just making me more excited to see the final result because hopefully this is supposed to fit like a glove. This is supposed to be very form-fitting and hopefully flattering. This is the first time I'm working up a pattern like this. And yeah, it's just kind of making me really excited to have it. The yarn has also been splendid to work with. Sunday Fibre Co. I'm going to be looking forward to purchasing more of their yarn when I go to Knit City. It's a little bit expensive, but the dye lots are beautiful and the quality, it's really, like, this is really lovely yarn. Even though it's discontinued, it's definitely an amazing summer yarn. This knit has been a lot of fun. It's a really small knit. It's a thin yarn on small needles, and I'm so glad that I'm not even knitting on the required needle size. I actually went up a needle size, so it's a little bit easier, but I'm still meeting the same gauge. But technically, yeah, I'm supposed to be knitting this on much smaller needles. Super cute, super light. I can't wait. I'm so excited to have this and be able to wear it. Hi, it is Saturday, the 21st of June, and I just spent like the morning taking all of my yarn off I'm still in the process of doing it, but I spent like 20 minutes unwinding my bobbins so that I can be ready for tilted fleece in like 2 weeks. I did want to also show you guys a little bit of progress on my Ophelia blouse because I feel like I've gone a decent way like through the knit. I don't know exactly how much this would be percentage wise. Maybe like 40% is done. I have now completed the decreases for the shaping of the body. So this is what it looks like. I'm obsessed with this yarn. I'm really enjoying it and I can't wait to see how it wears in the long run. Maybe that's why it was discontinued, because I don't know, there's something about it, or maybe just the supplier stopped supplying. Yeah. So for the body decreases, there were a total of 4 rounds of decreases evenly throughout the body at 4 points. So you have one here, one at the back, another one at the back, and then another one at the front. And then for my size, there was an extra round of decreases just for the front. A couple of the different sizes didn't have that. So it depends on, I guess, the size you go with and your body measurement, because this pattern again really specifies knit it to your body proportion to get the best result. So for that, I did do the extra decrease at the front to just shape it a little bit more. It's not like an excessive tapering, I think. I don't know. Let's try it on. Also, this is going to be the first time I'm trying this on. I haven't been at a point where I could see what it looks like, so I'm really excited to see. I love how lately I've been trying on my knits for the first time alongside with you and not just before filming or after. I don't know. So this is what it looks like right now. Oh my god, this actually looks really good. Right now it kind of looks just like a little sweater vest. I kind of like this. Oh, this feels really nice. Okay, this is getting me excited. So the next part is actually to do some increases for the tapering out here to get more of the like little hourglass figure. But as I said, this doesn't actually like cinch in too much. It's hard to see right now without the button band. The button band is a lace one, and the pattern does specify to keep in mind when knitting this that the button band's gonna add an inch on each side because it is a lace detailed. So far, I'm really liking this. Maybe not with this outfit underneath, but I definitely think that this is gonna be a great summer knit to have, and it's gonna be super nice. Although right now it's a very gray, rainy day in Vancouver. Yesterday apparently actually broke a record for the coldest day because yesterday was the 20th of June. So it was the coldest 20th of June in Vancouver ever. So this summer has been starting off a little bit slow here, but I don't know, I'm still knitting as if it's like 30 degrees outside. But anyways, this is where I'm at with my Ophelia blouse, and this is where I'm at with my first skein. I still have a good decent amount to do, and I would say that this is probably like 40% knit right now because there's the sleeves, the rest of the body. Yeah, maybe 40% done. Hi, it's summer. It's getting a little toasty and warm. The windows are open. So I did all of the increases and decreases for the shaping, and I'm at the portion where I can just do the little hem at the bottom. The original pattern doesn't tell you to go down a needle size for the bottom for the lace work. I think I'm gonna go down a needle size because I went up for the main knit. I just don't want the lace to be loosey and airy, and because linen doesn't have much bounce and it's kind of a really drapey yarn, just to be safe, I think I'm gonna go back to the original needle size for the lace. And that's also what I'm gonna do for the button band, because the worst thing that could happen is my button band becomes like super loose. I'd want it to be a little bit more tight. That's where I'm at now, but basically this is what it looks like. I am almost done my Ophelia blouse. I say almost because I need to do the button band, which I can start on tonight. The collar and the button band, that's a lace stitch detailing. It's the same as the sleeves, and I think this one is the same all around. I would just need to pick up all the stitches, knit that back and forth. Tomorrow I think I'm gonna go pick up buttons for it, maybe some cute little white, really delicate, either little flowers or little pearl-esque buttons would be really cute. And then I think there's the I-cord detailing, not I-cord, crochet detailing. That we'll see how it goes. Now comes the fun part of picking up stitches all around this. It's gonna take forever. It needs to be divisible by 6. So let's try and do that. And it's gonna take long. It's gonna take long. It's 7:10 right now. Hopefully this video hasn't been too boring for you. The only thing I regret about this top is, and making this video, is the fact that this blouse, I haven't really been able to show you guys what it looks like, and I myself haven't really been able to try it on too much because it doesn't look like anything. It just keeps rolling in on itself. It's very flimsy and loosey, and I'm pretty sure once I add that lace here, once I block it out and add the crochet edge over the lace edge, it's gonna look so much better. But this is definitely one of those patterns that you just kind of have to trust the process and hope that it works out in the end. I am a little bit doubtful, and I feel like this might not have been the most interesting knit of the summer to be doing one of these videos. Hopefully I will be wrong and this will be amazing. By the way, it's now 7:35. Took me about 30 minutes. I started this at 7, right? Or 7:10. Either way, took me 20 or 30 minutes to pick up all the stitches in the round for the button band and the collar. So now let's knit some lace. Even see it. This is my issue with this knit. You can't see anything. Keeps rolling in on itself. But I basically finished the little lace detailing all around here, and this is what it is. I need to go get the appropriate crochet hook because I just have a 3mm and it asks for a 2.5, and I need to select some buttons. I think this one has 3 or 4 buttons kind of spaced out. So hopefully I can find that. I'm thinking about some white simple buttons, or maybe, I think I said it, some flower, but I'm really leaning towards a classic, elegant look. This is a very muted color, and I think staying with that color palette would suit it even better. Also, this is my camisole number 4. Ever since I made that video where I said I didn't like it and I never wear it, have been wearing it. I guess I needed to make a video proclaiming or telling you guys all about my issues with this knit for me to finally be able to wear it and be like, you know what, it's not that bad. It's not my favorite knit, but with a very big, floofy, oversized like skirt, this is definitely the right little cropped tank top. So maybe I just needed to find the right item of clothing to wear it with. It's also really, really hot outside right now. So well, first off, doused myself in sunscreen, but the weather just makes me want to wear my knits, but I want to wear lighter knits. So this is an extremely light, small tank top. That's, I think, might be one of the reasons why I'm picking it up a little more. I love the color, I just don't really like the yarn that I used for it, and I don't find this the most flattering fit for me, but I don't know what I'm trying to say, but essentially that's what I'm wearing today. I think it looks cute. I have, my feelings are mixed, very mixed feelings. I was able to pick up these little buttons that kind of have little flowers on them. And I was also able to get these that are kind of brown, but like shiny. I really, really like these. And I got a little 2.5mm crochet hook. So now comes the fun part, to learn to crochet picot. Picot. It kind of is like a little border edge. I've never done this before. And it kind of resembles, I can see it here, it kind of resembles like this little here, little bumps. So I'm going to be doing that around all the borders. I'm going to be doing that around the sleeves, around the collar where the buttons go, the bottom, basically just picot all of this. That is what I'm doing this afternoon. We'll see what it looks like. For now though, I was watching a tutorial and the lady kept calling it peacock. And I was like, this isn't a peacock. It's not the bird. So I think it's gonna add a lot, and the picot is where I do the buttonholes, the button bands. I kind of need to do the crochet to get the buttons on here. I think I might go with these ones, but I'm not 100% sure.
Where I was going to have my father's funeral. He died. Sorry.
We have sleeves. Okay. Literally watching the last episode of Lost. Yes, I have made it. That's it. I don't need to say any more. I did, look at this. I did the little crochet border. It looks kind of cute. I actually really like the way that this top is fitting. And then for the button band, it says to put the stitch markers before so that you can know where to place your buttons. Okay, definitely gonna need one there, right? Yeah. Oh. What was that sound? So that goes there. If I put one here, because basically you crochet the buttonholes. So I'm just gonna quickly place this standing and then I'll lay it down and adjust the buttons to proper measurements. I have a total of 8 buttons. So the original design has 3. Do I add 4? Oh, you're twisting. This is the only issue with stitch markers. They're gonna stop spacing out. Stay. What do we think? No, definitely not a higher one. All right, so I think I've landed with 5 buttons, and I'm just gonna measure, make sure that they're all spaced out properly. Measure it, make sure it's all even, and then do the picot around the collar, the button band, and then all around the bottom. There's a lot of crocheting to do. The sleeves honestly took me an hour, I would say. I don't know, maybe 2 hours. What time is it? Got back home at 4. Oh my God, it's 5:43. It took me 2 hours to do the little picot button band. We're gonna go with these ones. By the way, it is Pride Day, so it's very loud outside. I literally have soaking wet hair because I just washed my hair, but but the Pride Parade is happening, or it's about to happen outside, so it's becoming really loud. I've decided on these buttons for the Ophelia blouse instead of these ones. I really like these white ones because I don't know if you can see it. I've had really liked these ones. Okay, well this isn't working. I really liked these ones because it had a little kind of almost white flower inside, but I think it's just not the right vibe with the look, whereas these look a little bit more vintage because of the like sheer almost pearlness to them. And I feel like this just adds to the more classic, you know, little lace detailing. And this color, it's kind of like almost brown, but like not really. Really looks great with this top. So the parade is about to start in 30 minutes. And I just want to sew my buttons before I head out for lunch. Even the seagulls are getting in. Jeez. So, just to properly show you, all done. I just need to wash it. Hopefully that will also help the little picot from curling everywhere. Because if it doesn't, it'll fix it. It'll fix it. This is like a linen yarn mainly, so linen is drapey, so it'll probably like drape a little bit more, and that should hopefully fix the picot crochet. We'll see. But this is what it looks like right now. Before I do a grand reveal and show you what it actually looks like and bloomed into, let's talk a little bit about the pattern, how I feel about it, would I knit this again, and my yarn kind of reviews. I've actually worn this piece once so far because this could not have come at a better timing. It is actually like warm. They claim it's a heat wave. It's 27 degrees. To me, that's not, like Montreal is like 30, 35 degrees summer, so it's a lot hotter over there. Nonetheless, this is now perfect. It is super light, flows really well. It feels really nice against the skin, and that is partly because of the yarn. This fiber combination is great for summer wear. It is definitely a combination that I would look for again, even if it's not in Sunday Fibre Co. Just this like mixture of fibers. It's definitely a summer wear. One thing about it is it did end up growing, and it did end up draping a little bit more than I thought it would. I knew it was gonna drape. I knew it was gonna grow. I wasn't expecting it to go this much. Like, I did make this top pretty form-fitting, and I could have, if I really wanted that hourglass shape, I could have added a few more decreases and increases in the peplum to really get that like cinched in waist. Sorry, there's someone outside. That's one adjustment that I could have done had I really been searching for that shaping. This is blocked out, and as you can see, the picot edge really helps with keeping the lace down, keeping the lace in place. Even in the neckline, my lace isn't rolling up as much as it was before. It is rolling up a little bit, especially on this side. I didn't have a bag before outside, so the strap was kind of going in diagonal. So this one's a little bit more curly than this side, but the picot really helps with lace detailing and keeping the edge clear, which is really good to know. It definitely is something that I could implement in patterns later on. It was actually a lot easier to work up than I thought it would be once you get into the repetition, because I'm not much of a crochet person. Once you get into those repetitions, it does kind of like stick and just becomes a little bit easier. I really enjoyed this pattern. I really enjoyed this yarn, and I don't really know what else to say right now. Maybe if I can think of anything, I'll add it to my Knits and Babbles at the end of the month. But without further ado, okay, wait. Let me just lower you just a little bit. But this is what the top looks like now. I love it. Do you see what I mean by it's like super light and flowy? Really like this top, and you can kind of see the little excess fabric on the side. This is what I mean when I say this yarn kind of grew. I feel like before blocking it, it was a little bit more cinched, but having worn this for an entire day now and just blocking it, there is a little excess fabric. So I definitely could have added a couple more increases to really get that shaping or gone down a smaller size because I believe I knit size 3. Although for the sleeves, I did make a mistake and I knit size 2. Like I basically just picked up stitches for size 2 on a size 3 top. I don't really think it matters too much, but I realized it after when I finished the second sleeve. I don't know, I had done both sleeves and at that point I was kind of like, you know what? They're both the same. And I'm kind of happy with it because had I done a size 3 sleeve, this would just be wider because it would have more stitches. So I'm actually really happy with how the sleeves turned out. I didn't make it any longer than what the pattern recommends. I didn't add any rows. So this is just the sleeve length of the pattern. I have seen people make them into long sleeve or done the tank top. By the way, I'm just wearing a bra underneath. So this yarn really isn't sheer. Even though it's super lightweight, it's super thin. This barely feels like I'm wearing anything. It's super silky and I love it. So I'm really impressed with how the yarn kind of holds up and how I'm able to wear a dark bra underneath and it not look just like, ta-da, here's my bra, you know? I feel like that was a style in 2000 to like wear a black bra with a white t-shirt and just be like, ta-da. Yeah, anyways, pattern used up less yarn than I thought it would, even though I went up a needle size, I still made sure that I had the correct row gauge and the correct stitch gauge when I knit the back panel. So I'm really not sure how I used up less yarn. I'm always saying this, it's better to have yarn left over than not have enough yarn for your project. Yarn chicken is not my friend. So I guess that kind of sums up my Ophelia Blouse experience. This beautiful knit, again, it couldn't have come at a better timing. I'm so happy to have it in my wardrobe and be able to wear it. If you plan on knitting the Ophelia Blouse, let me know in the comment section down below because I feel like this one hasn't really been popping up on Instagram, at least not mine, and this pattern does deserve love and a little bit of a spotlight. I had immense fun knitting it. It was really well written and I even learned a new technique, which is the little picot edge. So I love when patterns teach me new exciting things. And if you enjoyed the video, give it a little thumbs up and maybe subscribe to the channel if you aren't already subscribed. It helps me a lot. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful, lovely day and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.